East Alabama, it's time to wake up. Serving Lee, Tallapoosa, Russell, and Chambers counties, it's the East Alabama Mental Health Center live broadcast. Starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, hello and welcome to East Alabama Mental Health Broadcast. I'm Bailey McConnell, your host. Today we have Miss Faith and Miss Vicky with us, joining us from Rape Counselors of East Alabama. And I'm just going to let you guys introduce yourselves and tell the audience a little bit about your positions and what you do there.
Okay. I'm Vicki Deering. I'm the director at Rape Counselors of East Alabama. I've been with the agency for about 25 years. I was a volunteer in college, and then I've been the director for about 20 years. So I've seen, a lot of different situations, and I've been, been in a lot of different roles. I've also served as a victim advocate and, go to the hospital and provide services to survivors.
Great. And what about you, Miss Faith?
Well, my name is Faith Nomchef. I've been with the agency for about 2 years now. I also started off as a volunteer and then started full-time in August. I'm a victim advocate as well as Vicki, go to the hospital, work with survivors, but I also am the outreach coordinator. So I am in charge of going to our 4 different counties, going doing outreach events, talking to sororities, all different kinds of things, and going into schools and stuff.
Right, so let's talk with Miss Vicky now. You are the director there, like you said.
Yes.
And let's walk through with the audience what is the standard procedure for your survivors that get involved in your program.
Okay, so Rape Counselors of East Alabama, we actually serve 4 counties in Alabama: Lee, Chambers, Macon, and Tallapoosa counties. We offer a 24-hour hotline where any victim, survivor, family member, friend, or anyone who has experienced some type of sexual violence can call our hotline and speak to one of our advocates 24 hours a day. 7 days a week. We're always, holidays, anytime they can call us. Sometimes those do come from secondary callers, someone that knows someone who's been assaulted. They need to know what to do, what steps to take. If it's a victim that has been assaulted just recently and they're calling for the first, within hours or minutes after it happened, we want to always make sure they're in a safe place. We give them recommendations like not to shower, not to go to the bathroom, to try and get to a safe place, at least calling, police if they're comfortable with that, or going to the hospital for a forensic exam so they could have a rape kit there. And that's what the sexual assault nurse examiner will actually perform the kit and collect that evidence. So we also ask that they bring a change of clothes. If they come straight to the hospital, we actually provide a full set of clothing at the hospital for them to wear home. From shirts, bras, panties, underwear, shoes, if they needed socks, so they're provided everything they need when they leave. Once they get to the hospital, they will then go through the rape kit with the nurse examiner, and we're there to provide support, answer questions, be there for family members, for anyone who might need our help while they're at the hospital. Mm-hmm. So that's pretty much what happens when they're at the hospital. One other thing that is important at the hospital is that once they sign in, because they do go to the emergency room, we get them very quickly back into another room so they don't have to wait in the emergency room waiting room. We get them through triage and then get them in a room very quickly so they don't have to have that traumatic experience of sitting in the ER too.
Right. So, and you said that there is a special type of nurse that performs these kits, and your program helps train those nurses. So we do have nurses in those counties that can do that, correct?
Yeah, so really in Lee County is our main area where we have the trained SANE nurses, and they are operating through a manager in the ER department, and then we help provide that training to them. Okay. And then services, throughout the year.
Wonderful. Now I'm going to talk to you a little bit, Miss Faith. So you are a sexual assault survivor advocate, correct?
Yes, a victim advocate.
A victim advocate. Mm-hmm. So what does your process look like? What is the procedure as the victim advocate? What do you do with these people?
Well, kind of like Vicki said, we're that 24-hour access and service to them if they go to the hospital. Other things we do, we'll end up going with them to court through the entire court process, sitting with them day after day after day. Sometimes it can even be 2 weeks. We end up going and helping them get referrals to counseling services if they need it, answering those hotline calls. I mean, it really kind of just is whatever the survivor needs. I always, in the trainings with any victim advocates, if you're just there and the best thing you can do for them is get them some juice, that's fine. Like, you can do that, or you can hold their hand through the whole rape. It's just whatever they need you to be, that's kind of what you become.
Right. So let's talk a little bit about when they're in the hospital, and you guys talked a little bit about reporting the sexual assault and a little bit about the kit testing. Are the victims obligated to do any of this if they're calling your program?
No. So do you want me to go ahead and talk about the Jane Doe?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Let's talk about that.
Okay.
Let's
so,
explain what a Jane Doe. She said
Yes.
Jane Doe rape kit.
Yes,
correct?
yes.
Okay.
So a common misconception is that a survivor has to press charges if they're getting a kit done. This is not true. They can have a Jane Doe kit done, which means that they can kind of like take more time to process and think about if they want to press charges. Because honestly, the night that they come in, that's really not a decision they're ready to make, and they shouldn't have to make. So this gives them a little bit more time to kind of like sleep on it a few nights, decide what they want to do, and not pressure them to talking to law enforcement or anything at that point. So reporting is optional when they come into the hospital.
Okay, that's great. Great information. Okay, so Miss Vicky, you can piggyback off of drug-facilitated sexual assault. Let's talk about that a little more. How would you prevent that for people, young people, women and men in bars? What is the kind of training that you go through for that?
Okay, so one thing, with prevention is a really hard word to say because we know we can't prevent it from happening, but we want to give people the information they need so that they can help themselves and how to look out for their friends and be a bystander. So one thing that we like to do, that we do is to go into a lot of our community groups and talk with different schools, organizations, and that especially the college age, high school age, and tell them how to protect themselves when they go to a bar or to a party, to make their own drink, to try and avoid taking a drink from a stranger, never having something that's an open container and leaving it. So there's a lot of ways that never leaving a friend, watching those behaviors of your friends. A lot of our victims that when they come to us thinking they have been drugged, they'll tell us, I've had this many drinks. I know what I feel like after having one drink, and this was completely different. Or friends saying, I noticed a completely different behavior. So watching your surroundings, being that bystander, and just really looking out for each other. And if you notice something that is off, take control of that right there. Don't ever let someone get in an Uber or a transit or any car, that is unknown by themselves. Even if you're still having fun for that night, make sure they get home safely is, our biggest recommendation on that. And as far as like with trainings, I did attend a bar training in Birmingham, and it was very helpful, and we're trying to utilize that also with our local establishments just to teach them and train our bartenders on how to recognize if they feel like someone isn't even an unsafe situation. Like how can they do, like, you've seen the angel shots or a safe word or something that will give them some indication that somebody is in harm.
Okay, we're going to talk about a little bit more about substance abuse, and we know that substance abuse can be used as a coping mechanism, and we know that the statistic is even higher for survivors of sexual assault, that they experience anxiety and depression afterwards, and they might resort to substance abuse as a coping mechanism. If you see myths and facts quiz, ready? And it's just true or false questions, so we're just going to discuss it. So I have here, for every incident of sexual abuse or sexual assault that are reported, at least 80 go underreported. Is that true or false?
Yes, that's true. It's usually even much less of a percentage of individuals who report.
So we see like a lot of non-reported.
Yeah.
Okay. And I also have here, sexual offenders perpetrate because they have no consensual partners. Is that true or false?
That's false.
So that's not usually the underlying...
Just the force of control.
Yeah. Okay. A woman cannot be sexually assaulted by her husband. True or false?
That is false. Just because you're married to someone does not mean that you're consenting to any sexual act for the rest of your life. Yeah, definitely.
Friends and family of a sexual assault victim are also traumatized by the assault. We just discussed this a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely true.
Yes. So, and you guys provide that service for friends and family of the survivor to guide them through that process.
Yes.
Over 85% of all sexual assaults are perpetrated by someone known to the victim. True or false?
True. Yes, most of sexual assaults occur by someone who the victim does know.
Yes, and I believe we talked about that a little bit earlier as well. So we also have victims of sexual assault are chosen because they are pretty, young, or sexy. True or false?
False.
So that kind of goes into another misconception about what a victim is wearing, how they look. That's not the reason.
Right. Or what they're wearing, what they were drinking, any of their behavior, you
Right.
know, any of that is, yeah.
It's not why that happens.
Right.
So sexual assault occurs because men cannot control their sexual urges. True or false?
That is false. Like we've talked about, it's usually control and power.
People victimized by sexual assault or abuse sometimes ask for it by their provocative behaviors. True or
False.
false? False. That kind of goes hand in hand.
Right.
We were just talking about. Well, that is all that I have on our quiz, and I just thank you guys so much for coming. This is wonderful information for our audience, and I'm going to let you tell the audience again how they can get in touch with your program if they know someone that's been sexually assaulted or if they're a survivor themselves, how they can get in touch and get involved in your program.
Okay, great. And thank you again for letting us come today. This was a great experience, and we hope that we're reaching anyone that might need our help or anyone, like she said, our information is, our hotline is 334-705-0510, and it's 24 hours a day. You can also reach our office at 334-741-0707. You can also like us on Instagram at Rape Counselors of East Alabama, Facebook, RCEA, and then also we have our website, www.rapecounselorsofeastalabama.com. And another thing that we do offer is training. So if you have any kind of business, education services, anything in the community that we can come out and provide, even information. One thing just to add on to before we go is we have a Know Before You Go going on right now this summer. And if you want to find out more information, give us a call or check out our social media. That is for incoming freshmen, so our seniors who just graduated. We provided training for them on what to expect when they get to college, how to be safe, give them information. One thing that's kind of cool that we do is we find out where they are going to college, and we provide and do research on those services. So if we have a student going to the University of Alabama or LSU or Florida or University of West Virginia, we will give them a packet of information with all of the resources on their campus, their police station, their hospital, to provide them to feel safe when they get there.
Wonderful. So thank you guys again for joining, and thank you guys for tuning in. We'll catch you next time.